And there we go. The music is gone, and we are ready to kick off our webinar. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We have participants from literally all over the globe. I am incredibly amazed of how many people signed up for this. So this is really nice seeing you all. Well, I guess you're just seeing me. It's a one-way thing right now. We have a webinar coming up about AI, and it is not just another webinar about AI. This has a very specific focus. This is specifically about what you when, as I have on the slide here, when you're giving your CMS a brain. We have some experts with us. We're in Finland with Kalle joining us. We'll get back to that in a second. We have Denmark, we have the UK, and we have Spain, actually from Barcelona. Sara from Atex is joining us as well. So as I said, this is not just a generic webinar about what to do with AI in the newsroom. Specifically starting from the CMS, we will talk about editorial workflows, we will talk about journalist adoption, about oversight and ethics, a little bit about technical infrastructure, and of course, since we have experts from our vendors, we will also talk about build versus buy decisions. So let's kick it off. As I mentioned, we have some experts with us. The first one we are going to meet is Kalle. He is from Ilta-Sanomat in Finland. We have Sara from Atex. We have Brian Alford from Brightside in the UK, and we have Maria Bering from Stibo, Denmark. Practically, there is also, of course, the opportunity to ask questions. We will save the questions till the end of the webinar. If you have specific questions for a vendor, just throw them in the Q&A in the Zoom interface here, and we will pick up the questions you ask and answer them in the end, but you don't have to wait until the end to post the questions. If we don't have time for all of your questions, we will share your contact information directly with the vendors you ask or the people you ask, so they can start an email conversation directly with you. And yes, the recording will be shared, and the slides from the presentations will be shared as well. So to kick it off, well, I forgot to say that my name is Kim Svendsen. I am the membership director for One IFRA, and I am excited. This is the first time I'm hosting a One IFRA webinar, so let's see how it goes. Yeah, I would like to kick it off by giving just a tiny little bit of a different approach to the whole thing about AI and couple that to the newsroom CMS systems. I recently saw a super nice, super well done visual storytelling about AI, and coupling that with the newsroom was useful for me, at least because it gave another perspective. The author is Maggie Appleton, and her idea is, her basic idea is that when you have a situation that we've seen so many times before, we talked about so many times before, that you have input you put into a black box, whatever language model that is, and you get an output on the other side. The better that black box gets at providing something that creates click, the more the chance is that you end up in a situation like this with a lot of basically crap, with a lot of things that do generate clicks, but stuff that you don't really feel like this is what you were looking for. And she calls that the dark forest of the internet. The dark forest, in my opinion, is a really good way to look at all the crap that is generated by AI out there. The whole idea of just generating as many clicks as possible just makes you feel like you're lost in a forest, and it feels like an uncomfortable and unpleasant place to be. Below the dark forest in Maggie Appleton's universe here is the cozy web. I like that better. The cozy web is where you have your emails, you have the newsletters that you subscribe to, you have your podcasts. She calls it digital gardens. I like the idea of the digital gardens because a garden still has weeds sometimes. It's not always perfect. but it's a nice place to be. So the cozy web is where you trust what you see, but you know it's not perfect. And then below the cozy web in Maggie Appleton's universe, you have the totally safe area with the private chat groups, the gate-kept communities, your circles of trust that you feel comfortable in. So the purpose of today is for you to consider what happens if your content ends up in the not personal, feels machine-made, tone of voice is not on brand, feels generic, dark forest. Can you move it to the trusted, worth my time, deserves my opt-in, or even down to the personal, or I feel totally safe area? I like this picture because it talks about what I, as a consumer, what I feel. And today we should see if we could focus on how your CMS can still help your efficiency while placing your content somewhere in the cozy web. What to look out for in the next hour we have together. Practical steps when embedding AI into your core CMS. Some advice on how journalists and editors can maintain control, quality, and trust. You should look for best practices from the three vendors that we're meeting, and how to avoid creating the workflow silos, meaning that when I talk about a silo, I mean at a certain newsroom task is maybe easier created outside of the CMS, just copy pasting back and forth between different systems and different browser-based interfaces. That's a workflow silo we want to avoid. Tips and tricks for managing the organizational, technical, and ethical challenges. And of course, since we have three vendors with us today that I'll present in a second, what, in their opinion and in your own opinion, should you build and when to buy? And before we hand it over to the first speaker, just wanted to highlight three resources that I think you should consider. Beginning from the right, we have the Wayfinder newsletter that is really Ezra Eman's work. It is just a fantastic way to stay on top of everything AI and newsroom related. You can find the Wayfinder newsletter on LinkedIn. You should check out the Newsroom AI Catalyst Accelerator program. Search for that and find it on the One IFRA website. And finally, of course, you see Ezra again in the AI and media website that we have dedicated specifically for this topic in One IFRA. And as a One IFRA member, you can actually join the Slack, the AI in media Slack channel, which is a very vibrant and very, very valuable place to hang out when it comes to conversations like the ones we're having today. That was the opening, setting the stage a little bit. So for our speakers today, as I said, 4 speakers that will share their insights. We will first go to the north to meet with Kalle. Kalle works for the Ilta Sanomat. He is the AI producer for Ilta Sanomat, and he's also what you could call a self-named geek. Kalle has collected a long range of good use cases for AI in newsrooms. But I think I will hand it over to you, Kalle, immediately, so you can take over and talk about what it is you have created and what people can learn from your blog, your list. And we will put the link to your blog in the chat for everyone to see, so we don't have to read it, because Finnish is not my strong suit, and I assume most of the listeners or the participants not strong suit either. So we'll send you a link. But Kalle, take it away. Let's hear from Finland.
Great, thank you. You can see and hear me okay?
Yes, all good.
Yeah, so just to start, I have a long journalist background. I don't consider myself a tech specialist, but I'm kind of been many years in between the content and the development units. So this title, The Copy-Paste Evolution, is pretty much based on not only my work as a producer here at Ilta-Sanomat with AI stuff, but also this list of mine. If you haven't heard of it, it's I just decided to put up this list a few months ago in my personal blog, which I have done in Finnish 7-8 years now. Just to list the examples, because it was really difficult to find all of this stuff in the same place. And basically what it lists is AI tools for journalists, the country where the media comes from, and a short description of what's the examples about, and then also audience-facing product examples. There's a few here you can see, and the list provides links where these are explained in detail. The newest examples would be how was AI used in Pulitzer prized nominees in the United States. I think I added it yesterday or something like that. But anyway, if you have any tips on this list, you can send me a message on LinkedIn. So that's that. But anyway, this part was about the copy-paste evolution of AI tools. And when you look at the examples from this list, starting from 2023, you could pretty much summarize it like this, in my opinion. I know it's not all just about copy pasting, but most of it is. So in 2023, basically the most common properties you had in AI tools was summaries, translations. Some already had transcriptions, and then you had headlines for SEO or something like that. And you had to copy paste pretty much all of that stuff to the CMS. And that's 2 years ago. But now, then you of course have more and more new features in your AI tools, user needs, article drafts. We also have article drafts, for example, and fact checking or news gathering. And at least with us, for example, you copy paste some from the AI tools to the CMS, and some are integrated like headlines, for example, and some summaries. But what the future will look like, there are experts here that know much more about this than me, but it would seem that not necessarily everything is, it might not be wise to put everything integrated in the CMS, but perhaps most of the features that you now have in your separate AI tools for journalists. I would say, why is it not wise to integrate everything in your CMS? One reason might be that you would have so many features in the CMS that it would be difficult for some journalists to use it in their work. At least with us, we sometimes see that it already now might have many options to choose from, and you have to really careful to how to develop that. And that's actually my last slide. I do have time for questions, but actually in 10 or 15 minutes I have to be with our journalists, telling them how to use Notebook LM. So that's part of my.
Thank you so much, Kalle. If we can get me back in the picture, I have a question for you, since you have to leave in a few minutes. You said that don't integrate everything, and you're obviously a heavy user of everything AI. what do you consider before telling anyone else in the newsroom about a new service that you find? Is there like a pause and think question you always ask yourself before you introduce anything to the newsroom?
Yeah, in my work, I think I have kind of two levels. Pretty much nothing prevents me or some of my colleagues to tell our people about basically any tool, but we of course have to emphasize how to use them safely. About your question, the first thing I always think is it legal? Because a good example might be I tried the Chinese Manus AI program quite often, but I've decided not to show it, to the whole bunch of journalists here, because most of the stuff it does, it's not it's not legal when it roams the internet, with the sites and stuff. But yeah, the first thing I think is it legal, and then if some of it is safe and can be used for journalistic purposes, like notebook LM to some extent, then it's kind of safe to tell people about
But
it.
do you feel safe basically just telling someone go try this service out in a browser, or is there a white list of services that you share with the newsroom? I mean, you have a huge list of use cases, but when the newsroom asks you, "Can I use this?" Do you have a white list, or is it up to each individual user?
Yes, we have a list, and the basic principles are, of course, that if you have any journalistic content that is not yet published, so you can only put them in our own safe AI systems. We have an in-house built AI tool that you can use. But when I mentioned notebook LM, for example, I meant that in those cases that you use it with public sources, it's okay.
Yeah.
And then if you turn it into journalism, then you switch to our own systems. From that, it's not always easy, and it's understandable that some people say, well, this would be much easier to make with this tool than our tool, but that's kind of, you have to do it because that's safer. Yeah, I think you all know this dilemma.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Kalle, thanks for your time here, and thanks for introducing that very long list of useful use cases. And I can only encourage anyone to check in regularly on the link that we put in the chat, because Kalle, thank you so much for sharing that with the industry. This is kind of a strange way to do a blog, but it really is a blog,
Yeah.
even though it's just a Google sheet. It's a very practical Google sheet. I think it's only a matter of time before someone makes an automatic scraper and gets it as a message every time you add something new. But
Yeah.
thank you, Kalle, for that.
Thanks. I tried to do it with AI, but AI is hopeless in might also be not legal to scrape stuff, but
Yeah.
it's
There
easier
you
to
go.
make it by hand. Yeah. Thanks.
Good.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you for
me.
that very practical thing. Kalle, run to your meeting, and we will move on to our next speaker. We will go to Barcelona to say hi to an Italian woman, Sara from Atex. Atex is a global provider of solutions for the publishing industry. They have content management systems, advertising systems, subscription management systems, and a lot of other things. And some of the Atex customers include DMG Media in the UK, Newsday in the US, La Repubblica in Italy, El País in Spain, and many others. Sara will be showing us their MyType AI-driven CMS. So without further ado, I will just hand it over to you, Sara.
Yeah. Hi all, and thanks, Kim, for the presentation. Can you see my screen?
We can.
And
Yeah,
the presentation?
all
okay,
good.
perfect. Yeah, so before starting, like, I wanted to introduce myself a little bit. I also have a background in journalism, and now I'm working at Atex as a product manager, especially for the innovation feature and tools in our products. So just to start, Atex is a global software company with more than 52 years of history, 200 employees, and we are active in 33 countries worldwide. In Atex, we work in 3 different business units. I work in the business unit of content, which means all the product for content production. But we have also the business unit for advertising and subscription with a paywall solution. And all the business units are referring to the media sector. Let me introduce you to my type. That is our all-in-one platform that is designed to support newsroom all across the entire editorial workflow. So from news gathering, and we have the integration with press releases, with newswires, and AI tools such as the transcription of video and audio. Then, of course, my type born as a CMS. So we have the part of news production. So the writing part with some feature like text-to-speech, smart tagging, writing assistant, and the image and video editor. Then we help newsroom with the news distribution, with the SEO optimization tool, integration with newsletter, the homepage manager, and the social posting. And at the end of the workflow, we have the news monetization, so with the paywall, analytics, and advertising. Some of these tools are already live, as we will see, and others are coming soon, and they are part of our roadmap to keep improving the platform. But before starting with the video demo, I wanted to introduce the concept of fluid media. I first heard about fluid media from Pirhonen at the One Infra conference in Krakow, and the idea stayed with me. Fluid media will be flexible and interactive, but the concept of fluid, we can use this concept both for the way of newsroom will work in the future. So no longer with the rigid structures, but adapting the formats to the audience. But also the article itself will be fluid, because the article will be not only a text, print or web, but also an audio, a video, our image, animation, social post, newsletter, and so on. So this idea is exactly what we want to support with my type solution. And for this reason, it needs to be more than a normal CMS, and we prefer to call it a digital platform to help team to create, edit, and share content in real time. So now we will look to a list of features available in my type, and I try to follow a possible newsroom workflow. So we can start from the transcription. So in this video, I upload an audio file directly into my type, such as this is an interview. So we can upload a video or an audio. This is an audio from Reuters. Then I choose the web section, and I ask to the system to start the transcription. After some seconds, we will have the transcription, and I can ask to create a new article directly from the transcription. So now we are in the editor part, and we have the transcription. Of course, the transcription is very dirty, but we can ask AI to paraphrase the transcription, and immediately the system create a draft to start write the article. Then, yeah, sorry for the advertising of YouTube, sorry. Then once we have the transcription, we are ready to start working on the article. So we can ask AI to suggest a title and a lead based on the paraphrase of the transcription. I wanted to underline that our Ask AI tool is only a suggestion. So we integrate AI in my type as a suggestion. So the system suggests, in this case, 5 couple of title and lead, and the journalist could choose one, and of course edit. Then we can ask AI to suggest the SEO metadata, the URL, title, and description, and we can choose the right one. And for SEO, we have this system with traffic lights, very similar to the host of WordPress, but we also introduce the possibility to ask the system to suggest keyword, the right keyword, to improve the optimization of the article. Then now, so we have the transcription. The transcription became an article with the title, lead, and the metadata. So we are almost ready to publish. After, before the publication, we ask the system to create the audio article, because, as I said, the article will be fluid. So not only the text, but also the possibility to listen an article. The market of podcasts is very, very big. So we integrate in the editor the possibility to ask to create an audio AI. In this case, I select a female voice in a neutral style. And in like 1 minute or 2, it depends on the length of the article, the system will create an audio file that appear immediately in the front end of the article. And as you can see, the voice is good, but not perfect. In the demo version, like in the basic version of my type, we are using the AWS voices, like the Poly system. But recently, we sign a partnership also with 11 Labs. So some of our customers are using 11 Labs voices, but this is not important for us who is the provider, because for example, if a newsroom had already a provider for text to voice, we can easily integrate through API the synthetic voice technology into my type. So this is not a problem. So now we have published the article in the text of the article, the audio of the article, and we wanted to promote the article on social. So we create another tab called social posting, and we can ask AI to suggest the copy for Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and X. So we have different copy for different social. We have a block, the social post, and if I put an image, for example, here, all the different social will have the same image. But for example, if we wanted to change the image for Instagram or for Facebook, we can. So I can upload another image to only for Instagram, for example. And we are ready again to publish also on socials. So for example, we can decide to schedule the publication on the different social. So for example, on Instagram, I wanted to publish the post tomorrow. And on Facebook, I wanted to publish right now together with the publication on my website. So this is a demo system of Facebook, and this is the article that it was posted directly from my type. And everything you have seen works also with WordPress integration as a publish engine. We create this connection because we know that most newsrooms are using WordPress as their main CMS, but we are also aware that also WordPress starts free. Adding tools can quickly become expensive for the newsroom. So in this case, all the my type features that you see can be used without having to migrate the entire backup, the entire archive of the newsroom from WordPress to my type. For example, this is a feature that is not possible to do on WordPress. The possibility to pixelate faces. So, for example, you can use the feature of my type and publish directly to WordPress without passing through WordPress. Because if I click on publish, we can see this is our website on WordPress. So you can see that the article will be published directly on my website based on WordPress. And finally, I wanted to show our print automation system. Considering that Atex has been operating in the print sector for many years, we developed a proprietary print automation system based on the need of our long-time clients. So the print automation system connects both our legacy CMS and also my type. So as you can see, in my type, I can create a list of articles called print automation and simply drag and drop the article in our print automation tool. So the article will be uploaded, and we can also decide from the page where we want to put the article, and also we can give a score to the news, like for example, and our system will take care, like will consider the scoring to create the newspaper. Then clicking on the button of the print automation, the system start to upload the different article in the different layout of the newspaper. And at the end of the day, this feature is very, very important for our client because the newspaper is ready for the review in like 2 minutes at the end of the day, and this feature could save hours of work at our client. And for us, this is a very important feature, and also the print automation is important for the concept of fluid media. So this is all from my side. So thank you, and if you want, you can contact me. This is my email, or book a demo to see my type.
Thank you, Sara. I was actually about to ask if print belongs to the fluid media concept, but you already answered that, and yes, it does.
Yeah.
So, and I can only encourage you to go to atex.com. There is an excellent website with a lot of resources there, and a specific site only for the MyType CMS there. So a lot of resources to investigate. And we have a bunch of questions coming in. I will save these till the end. So Sara, please hang on. Thank you. And from Barcelona, with an Italian accent, we are going to move on to the UK to say hi to a CMS provider called Bright Sites. Brian Alford is the founder and CEO. And as far as I understood, Brian, the whole idea of Brightsides actually started on the floor in a newsroom. And maybe you can talk a little bit more about that. And you need to unmute.
Unmute, and let me share.
There we go.
Hi there. Let me just share my screen.
Perfect.
It's not letting me do that for the moment. Here we go. Here we go. And 1 second, present. Hopefully you can see that.
Yes, we can see that. It's good. You are full screen. Take it away.
Excellent. So yeah, thank you. And welcome everyone. Yes, I want to talk a bit today about kind of who we are and how we got to where we have, and also just around the process we've been through to ensure that the editorial interface in a CMS, especially now in the sort of the world of AI, the importance of a really good user experience, so a lot less clutter, which enables the journalists to do what they want to do best, which is to create good quality content, and using the modern tools to be able to make that as efficient as possible. So let me just give you a bit of background about me. I'm unlike quite a lot of other people, I'm not a journalist, or have never been, but I've always been passionate about news. I think it's a really important thing, and it's, it's a way of educating the world about what's happening right now. And I believe that the bit we can play in this is to bring the latest technology, which will enable the sort of good quality journalism to be amplified wherever it can be. So one of the first, I guess, jobs I had was working with a newsroom, and it was a standard project. And out the back of that, I really felt that there's something, value I could add. So that's where I founded Brightsides. So we're actually born in the newsroom. So we were working day to day with the journalists, the commercial teams, and the data teams, and really enjoyed the sort of the constant vibe of real time news, and we saw lots of platforms which were based, they were built by technology companies who thought they knew best how to build platforms. And it was a learning curve to actually realize that journalists should be part of that journey in terms of being able to inform what the interface looks like, how it works, how it operates, the workflows. And each newsroom has its own custom way of doing things, and that's important, not to force a technology solution on every single journalist. It's important to be able to adapt to newsrooms. So I wanted to build a flexible CMS. So we were working with the publishers, and we also realized the importance of innovating. The industry moves fast. There's always changes, whether it's Google algorithms or platform changes like Facebook. So we realized that it's important for us to be able to move as fast as almost like the journalists are with their content. So this is sort of the world we found before we built Flow. So there's loads and loads of disconnected and cluttered tools, lots of data, but no one really knew on a day-by-day basis what to do with that data. It was there. A lot of reactive publishing, so seeing what others had done, not necessarily data-driven. Lots of manual workflows. So for example, creating a gallery might be 4 or 5 hours worth of work, adding all the just captions, everything like that. And so we wanted to find a better way of doing that. Also, there's a lot of guesswork involved in this fast-paced environment, and a lot of because of that sort of the constant pressure of working so fast, there's a lot of decisions that couldn't be made, and so we had decision bottlenecks. So where we feel we've got to with Flow is a really clear and clutter-free, journalist-friendly publishing platform. That's this kind of underlying importance part from my side. Being able to use data to predict what to plan and write about, to try and eliminate as many of the sort of manual workflows as possible with automation, but with human validation during the steps. Being able to use AI to guide from everything from story ideas to headline optimization to SEO, and also being able to present some insights so that editors and journalists and the team can make decisions based on that. So I guess it's also important to say when we introduce AI, what it does do, what it doesn't do, and we never believe that AI replaces editors. It's there to support them, and especially supporting decisions, as opposed to just giving recommendations. It's about kind of a more in-depth integration than that, about not losing control. Definitely the editorial teams need to be in charge. We believe that sort of some systems are a bit of a black box, and we have built the way we've integrated AI is transparent as possible. So obviously you've got LLMs involved, but we have a process before we use an LLM and also afterwards with things like star guides, making sure it meets the star guides of the individual publishers. And also, I think we believe that AI is not necessarily a shortcut. It's about using it in a way to I guess magnify quality and be able to take away some of the tasks which are which can be kind of automated and supporting that model above. So we've proven success with innovation with these our working with newsrooms. All of our clients have been long-term partners. We've got really good strength in terms of Google Discover, and we are really ready and prepared for the AI services, both inside Google, like AI mode and AI overviews, but also the sort of chatbot experiences too. We work in a very forward-thinking way. We do hack days. We innovate with our with the newsrooms, not just from a sort of technology point of view. We make sure we spend a lot of time actually not putting more buttons into the CMS, keeping the interfaces clutter-free as possible. We believe that AI is an ally, not a threat. And also, I think it's important to be able to show during these hack days some wow moments. So when you get a team of people, especially on the journalist side, you go, wow, I can really see the value of that. That does change how we could work and makes things better. That's a really rewarding and important part of the process. And I also think it's important not to necessarily just have vendors coming up with ideas and vendors doing the technology, but also working with in-house teams, creating prototypes, making sure it's a kind of partnership as opposed to just outside thinking. Just a bit about us. We work very closely with Google as well because we think that's important, and we've got this was at Google I/O this year. We were one of the few people mentioned at the keynote. Again, you can see our AI integrations in Flow with the being demoed at Google I/O, and also there was a stand with our kind of our tools on there. This is one specifically about generating alt text for images, using not just AI just to identify what's in the images, but also using the archive and the star guides of the individual publication. So I think the most important piece here is around we're not a technology company. We view ourselves as a partner to the newsroom, and it's important kind of the sort of the three main strands of technology, commercial, and editorial working closely together. So I want to show you Flow, which is our AI-enabled CMS. It's built specifically for publishers and newsrooms, and it's trusted by over 200 publications. I can go into that in more detail if you would like to contact me. But again, the key piece here is the clutter-free interface is really, really important from our point of view. Here. And just to show you kind of the high level things, we've got an AI toolkit built in. We have features for breaking news. We have live blogging, e-commerce, image management, and layout management, all built within that platform. But there's a layer of the AI toolkit which threads through that to be able to help journalists, as opposed to kind of take jobs away from them. Let me show you the sort of, at this point, the article creation and live blogs. Let me just come out of here, and I can show you kind of the interface. So you'll see it's focused on the article. This is the article creation. You have your headlines, sections, everything you'd expect to see from there, but also the AI integrations alongside it. So you can put target keywords in, and you'll then be able to see things like, these recommendations around word counts and topic counts, but also being able to generate optimized headlines and image recommendations, video recommendations. Again, not enough time to cover everything, but let me show you sort of one in progress. So this is what's been added manually, and these are the recommendations. So you obviously can see this. We break things down so they're specialized for the individual platform, whether it's social or search, and you can add all of them through one click, or you can add them individually. So that's an example of something which went through massive rounds of working with journalists to find the best interface for that. There's also stand first recommendations, and you can also have recommendations within the body as well, depending on how you and your newsroom want that set up. Just go back to here quickly. These are the example of what we've just showed you. And then just sort of quickly touch on Pulse, which is another tool that we have built, which is to provide like an audience expert for every journalist in your newsroom. This is used by the likes of the Mail, the Jewish Chronicle, the Standard, and we're seeing some really good success with that. The main purpose of it is basically to try and help predict and recommend what could do well based on your publication, the historic data, and also what's trending at the moment. I will just let you see that briefly, but I'll move on relatively fast on this piece. But it's about kind of creating content plans, opportunities, and also you can research further into it. So rather than having multiple tools open like Google Trends, search, everything like that, it all brings it into one interface. And this is the sort of simple interface where it gives you the opportunities, what to write about, the topic, and for each one you get things like headline and everything like that. You can also see topical authority and top articles you've got, and gives you the ways of adding it to your task management system. So again, we're not opinionated. Don't keep it necessarily in our platform. You can use Slack or WhatsApp or whatever tools you use. This is an example of planning an event. So it'll give you a full set of articles to create over the weeks before a particular event. This is for like a Glastonbury, for example. I just want to leave you with a quote from one of our clients we work with in one of the newsrooms, the Standard, just to show kind of how we have a long-term relationship with them, and we are there to sort of solve problems, not just problems that sound nice to solve, but actually real-world problems which make a difference to the editorial workflow. So yeah, so thank you for listening. If you want to find out any more about Flow or Pulse, or just a chat around AI and how it can be used in newsrooms, feel free to get in touch. There's my email address there, my LinkedIn, and if you want to go to the website, you can scan the QR code there. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. And I actually have a question. I can do that because I'm a moderator, so I can cheat a little bit. You showed the Flow CMS that integrates a bunch of AI tools in one package, and then you have Pulse that's running alongside the CMS. Do you have a rule of thumb for which AI use cases make sense to integrate in the tool and which to run on the side? How do you decide that when you develop?
Sure, that's a really interesting question. I think there's not necessarily a one size fits all answer to that. I think where it's important to integrate inside the CMS is if it's sort of more of a day-to-day publishing feature or enhancement, things like headline optimization, tags, sort of even real-time performance and editorial fact checking. And that's sort of perfect examples of things you can build into the CMS. I think where there are some strategic planning tools, or tools that have more complex in terms of the data that needs to be presented. They're candidates to be built kind of outside of the CMS. So I think not every sort of role needs to have the same level of complexity of data. But also, I would also say that things change, and so we found that some things that are external to a CMS can be brought into the CMS, and also almost the other way around as well. Sometimes it is about decluttering and moving things that kind of are in the way of the editorial interface, moving them out into separate areas, either within the CMS or as a separate platform. But there's lots of integrations between platforms these days. So I think that's the key. I think it's experimenting and doing, not just putting it into something because the tool's there. It's making sure it's you think about that process and where's the best place for it to sit.
So being able to open and close doors to keep it simple, as you say, less clutter and so on.
Absolutely.
Good. Thank you, Brian. And we are ready to move on to our next speaker. And we are moving from the UK over to what is right now a rainy and kind of gray Denmark, and saying good day to Marie Bering. Marie, you work for Stibo DX. Q Autopilot is the Stibo DX AI solution for the CMS called Q. And it's presented as a tool to help journalists write, editors to plan and orchestrate, and then to scale the content output, as the two other presenters has already talked about as well. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to you, Marie, to talk about scaling and how Stibo DX and Q handles this. And before you jump into that, I could say that we mentioned some of the other customers, and the customers that Stibo is working with is Media House, with Ippen, with Reach, and A Media. So a wide range of large and small media houses all across the globe. Marie, you also come from a newsroom background, so tell us a little bit about yourself and then take it away.
Yes. Well, thank you. Let me just share here. Oops. There we go. So my name is Marie. I'm the product manager at Stibo DX for Q and Autopilot. And I'm also a journalist. I come from a journalist background. I've worked with media companies for about 20 years. And I'm excited to move into working with the tools that support journalism at scale, because I think it's really important, and I see a lot of changes going on right now. And I'd love to tell you a little bit more about what we do with Q Autopilot. So the Q Media Enterprise platform really is a full platform for supporting publishing at scale. It's a digital-first storytelling platform. It has multi-channel production, including print. It centralizes assets with a DAM system. We are on our way with a full collaboration and planning solution. And then we have Autopilot, which is the generative AI platform that supports across the portfolio in lots of different ways. And Stibo DX and Q has a target audience that really covers most scenarios that's out there right now. Obviously, coming from a print, the modern publisher moving into a more fluid content management reality, but also broadcasters that are coming and need to share their content more widely across channels is an obvious fit for our platform, which is really targeting the multimedia hybrid that is the company that needs lots of content in lots of different formats across lots of different channels. And what we're seeing is that we have the platform as a whole. We have a unified UI that spans across the product portfolio, and then we have Autopilot that has a modular approach to launching some different built-in AI supportive tools wherever it makes sense. And it is important for us that also to work closely with our customers. We've had very frequent meetings since we launched Autopilot last year. And we've been working with this advisory board. So lots of close collaboration on the problem space and everything in between. So what we see is that the biggest challenge right now is probably not the AI adoption with the technology itself. It is how easily and naturally you can integrate it into your workflows. And I think some of the other speakers also spoke to this, that it really is about the unified experience and the full integration. So I would touch upon 3 points today, which is basically our ways of approaching this, which is make it your own, orchestrate with AI, and create with AI. So Autopilot is important for us to say that we do not come as just one size fits all, because we do think that it's important to support newsrooms, their credibility and their consistency over time with the tools. So we have focused a lot on how not just turning AI on and off, but also how to make it something that you control and adapt to your editorial standards. So this is an example where I'm just going to quickly show the prompt editor, which basically is a way that you can take the know-how that you might have worked on in recent months or recent years from external tools, and you can basically take your ideas of what good prompting and good AI is into Q with Autopilot. We have testing functionality. We have you can adapt. You can do anything that you can do in ChatGPT. You can take it into Q and really make the prompts work for you. So this is a very important point for us, is that whatever you want to do with AI, we can support your approach, and we are not just a kind of a fixed solution for one thing only. So another point is that we also do strive to support a lot of different suppliers of AI models in the market right now, and we do see Autopilot as kind of the bridge between these external suppliers, but we also want to draw attention to the fact that we support custom models. So if you have pre-trained models, if you have anything that has been an experiment or has been an innovation in your newsroom, this can also now connect and become something that might support. It might be regional needs or something that is very specific to your newsroom for different standards. So orchestration obviously is a big focus for us, because the promise of the Q publishing platform is that we cover across multiple channels. We have this element-based approach where a variant can be created for any channel at scale. So multiple big publishers with multiple publications, multiple channels per publication can orchestrate their workflows. And this is what AI really can enhance and make better. So what we're trying to do is also make the workspace for the AI editors out there much better. And I showed you the prompt editor, which really gives you this sense of a mission control or a cockpit for orchestrating AI. Where does it apply? Where do we want to use it? And how does this really scale? So what we're trying to achieve, and we have not broken through every single obstacle yet, but that whatever you want to touch with AI is your source. Whatever you want to do, that's your action. And whatever you want to output, that's your target. And that also speaks to the fluidity of content going forward. So this approach really is something that covers a wide range of use cases, from traditional publishing like auto-publishing wires, curating bundles for newspapers or for newsletters. It could be translation at scale, print automation. We have a full solution for that as well. Auto-composing formats of different kinds, but also having a content extraction from multimedia. And lots of different workflows. And it's just to say that some of these are fully functional at this point. Some are still, we're working with customers how to do this right so that it fits the needs of the newsrooms and that you can make it the way you want it to be. So this is just an example to show that when working with the Autopilot prompt editor, it does provide this kind of settings interface where you can control your publications and your newsrooms at scale. And you can also choose what AI solutions apply to which publication, and user controls and all those sorts of things. So what we're seeing right now is that while working on a wide range of tools and also opportunities right now, so we also see that once these things are in place, they really also start to work together. And so the point is that there is automated content optimization, metadata generation, automated suggestions, automated compositions, and automated publishing. And once these things really connect, that's where you get the powerful experience. And I just want to take you here as the end here into and get a little peek of what it feels like to use Autopilot this way and how to create with AI. And what you'll see is that we have, just for these demo purposes, come up with a lot of creative ideas about how you can use it. It really is not specific to the system. It is something that you can configure and set to fit your standards, your style guides, your needs. So let's take a look at it. So Autopilot works in context, which means that you can do global prompts like here at the bottom, or you can pick up in the whatever article you're on per element or in the article as a whole. So here is an example for a tone, a change for the headline for different target groups. And again, these can be configured to your specific needs, and you can interact with AI. So you can reprompt, there are reprompt options, and you can also chat directly. You can use it on the elements. You can use it for text selections even. You can, so this kind of, oops, let me go back here. This kind of shows, whoops, let's see. There you go. So here's a headline example where there is no headline. You create a missing element. There are different options. You can reprompt, you can interact with AI, and then you can choose how you want. We also have prompt chaining support now. So if you want to do more complex prompting and get validation steps into whatever workflow steps, and also kind of adding these prompts to triggers. So if you change a workflow state, you can also activate some of these workflow steps automatically. So you can build your entire story for any missing element that is there. We also add different tools on the side that helps and supports the journalistic creation process. We have implemented RAG with a research assistant that works just in close proximity of where you can work, and you can ask your archive. So whatever context you're in, you can surface articles and you have your trusted sources right at hand, so that AI, of course, generates suggestions, but it will stick to the sources that are your own and are trusted. So just for RAG to limit hallucinations. Then of course any sort of metadata generation has been a big focus for us as well, to to remove some of those more basic tasks. So we have semantic analysis and we have image analysis in our DAM system that will enhance and also really help with any asset retrieval that you want. This kind of shows that the images can then be enriched and much more easy to find, because AI will actually find, here's an example, will like locate text or people or locations from the images and create that user experience. And so all in all, we have a vision for this can go forward. These are some of the examples that I showed you. I did not show you, however, the print automation because I didn't think we had time to go into all the details of this solution. But looking forward, and if anybody is interested in more details on this, we have an upcoming webinar where you can dive into how Hearst specifically is working with our print automation solution to support their multi-channel workflows. And I think that was it for me.
Thank you, Marie. That was a grand tour of a lot of functionality in a very short time. So thank you. You had a slide where you had the different steps of automation. That made me think of a self-driving car. Is there a way for a newsroom that is not super well introduced to AI to try out Autopilot somehow without having a lot of technical staff available? It's like taking the self-driving car to full self-driving is a little bit scary. Is there a way to get started to see how that works?
I mean, we do have, we provide some, we call it highways, which is a way to get started easily with the system at any point. But I will also emphasize that just general prompting and whatever experience and what good experiences and good experiments you might already have made with some external tools can be applied directly into Autopilot. And it doesn't really take much other than a good conscious prompting skills. And I think it's important to understand that this is not something done by the system. It is something done by the newsroom itself. And it's also something that you have to work with over time to make sure that the prompts are the right ones to fit your journalistic needs. And also if they don't really apply over time, because this is a very rapidly changing environment, right? So what might be really interesting today might change tomorrow. So there is room for creativity and to grow and learn from the solution itself.
Good. Thank you so much. We will move into the Q&A section now, and just to make sure that you have all the contact information for the three speakers that we have here. I'll leave this on the screen for a while asking some of the questions, and then if we can bring all three speakers and myself to the spotlight. There's one question that keeps popping up. We've actually had it in 6 different variations in the Q&A from Africa and from India and from UAE and from Germany. It's about languages. Is it just a general rule that all of this AI functionality works across all languages, or do you have to be mindful of different languages when you start an AI project? And maybe if we start with Sara, there's a specific question. Does MyType support an African publisher?
The answer is that in this moment, no. We don't have another African publisher that we are working with, and as I think all of the people here know, the AI large language model had the best results starting from English, and then the other language, like the most popular language like Spanish, it's worked very well, and German, French. But for example, when we speak about text to audio, the Italian language is not so good. So there is a lot of work to do. But I know that there are different models, small models that we can try and we can use. And so please send me an email and we can arrange a demo and find the solution. Because as we know, it's so, in not years, in each month we have improvement. So I'm sure that we can do it.
That's good. It's actually it points back to something that was mentioned before. I think that was Marie mentioning that about prompt chaining. So it should be possible at least to have English as the prompting language, at least in the back end, and then having the functionality carried out in another language by chaining prompts. But maybe we should ask the same question to Brian and then to Marie. Language.
Yeah, I mean, so we work with translations in terms of like translating content between different languages. When it comes to the AI side of things, I sort of echo what Sara said in terms of it's not something, like, if you take, I don't know, take some of the African languages, that's not something we do out of the box or have experience with. But I'd go back to what I said in my presentation around being able to prototype, being able to partner, being able to test things out. Essentially, we have experimented with different languages, and we have seen some good results, but it's kind of not built into the platform at the moment. So it's a question of, I think there's if anyone's interested in talking about doing an experiment with some different languages, that's something we'd be more than open to discussing. So feel free to get in touch. I'm sure Sara's the same on that front.
Cool. And Marie, finally, you, languages.
Yes. So we support out of the box for AI, if that's specifically the question, the ChatGPT models, and we're continuously increasing our the supplier side, but this is exactly the point why we have opened up for custom integrations, because we do know that we have we have customers all over the world. We have support more than 800 newsrooms, 35,000 journalists, more than, I think, all over the world. We have customers in India. We just entered into talks in the Japanese market. So, I mean, we know that we are not AI experts and we cannot support everybody everywhere, but having your local flavor of AI and your local market, maybe there is a supplier in your country that you trust and that has done something incredible. And that is just, we have that option. So there really is no limitations in that regard.
Okay, good. Thank you, Marie. And just for the practicalities around that, I have a bunch of questions from the chat and from myself that I would like to ask. But we know that we announced the webinar to end at 1:15 Central European Time. We will of course record this and share the recording with you, but we will continue with conversations about 10 minutes more. So if you have to run for another meeting, go ahead and do that and wait for the recording. There's a specific question for you, Brian. You mentioned the article score. You showed the article score and something about search engine optimization. And then the specific question from the Q&A is, with AI scraping going on, is SEO even relevant anymore? Do you understand the question?
Yeah, I think so. I think I would say yes, it is definitely relevant. It's we know the landscape is changing, and Google last week, just at Google I/O, announced things like AI mode, more prominence of AI overviews. But in the day-to-day and for the foreseeable, I think SEO is still an important part of content creation. Although I would kind of stress that the tricks around SEO is not necessarily the important part here. It all comes back to creating good quality journalism and making sure you have, writing headlines that were good for print is a similar, thing for SEO, and making sure basically wherever your content can surface, it's got the best possible chance. And so a headline that's good for Google is different from one that's for social or Discover. That's different from one on site, different from one on print. So I do think SEO is still valid, and that's why I think tools within the platforms that keep it simple to be able to say, so you don't have to go to 5 or 6 different tools. You can see the recommendations and also the interface for that all in one place is important.
Good. And Brian, let me just stick with you because there was another specific question. What about a live fact checker? Is that available in the Bright Sites?
It's
Live fact checking.
not at the moment, but it's something we're working on. We have real-time checking against things like your editorial style guide. So being able to, how the article's been constructed, and it will, nudge content creators to keep things consistent and meeting the kind of the publication's broad aims on that front. In terms of the fact checking, we are actively working on bringing more of the real-time external fact checking into the interface.
Got it. Thanks. A question for Marie. You mentioned the different ways to write an article using like basically just facts. Does it change anything from the CMS point of view that that the input you put into the CMS seems to be less and less, and then the AI constructs the article? What do you see from Stibo point of view about writing with fact anchors? What does that change from the CMS point of view?
Well, I think that that it is important because we do see a lot of hallucinations in straight up LLMs, and I don't think that necessarily changes. I've even heard some news that the better they get, they still like to fabricate, and I think that having your own trusted sources in the loop here is an important step forward, because there are standards, and there is also a lot of archival value for the CMS, really to use this opportunity to have a more circular approach to writing and built on that that archive. And I think a lot of publishers really are looking also for business cases where to activate content, have the long tail be valuable over time, and make sure that we're not writing the same story several times or repeating ourselves. So all of these things play into this interaction where AI activates the archive in such a way.
Got it. And continuing on that, maybe we can ask this this to Sara. The end users are more likely to move to a traditional from a traditional search to a chat-based interface. What does that mean to the CMS? Meaning that do you have to design the CMS and the tools you give to the journalist differently because the output that the end user is meeting is more chat-based than just an article-based? What do you think about that at Atex?
Yeah, I think that like in Atex, we are thinking to create now something only on the front end for a sort of ChatGPT personalized for Newsroom, like based on the archive, but like the user will be the readers. But thinking about the structure of the CMS, we are reasoning on the possibility, for example, as I showed to the list of the article for the print automation, not drag and drop the article to create a newspaper. We can create a list to drop the articles to the chatbot, like because for example, like when we think about the chatbot with the Newsroom, it's general with the article and the news of the day. But there are a lot of experiences that, for example, a chatbot for the election. So, or maybe a chatbot, the Washington Post launched a chatbot for the climate change. So we can design the CMS with the possibility to send the article to the model and to show on the front end only a category or a list of articles. It's just an idea, but I think that to answer a question, yes, like we have to help Newsroom to answer like to answer to the need of the readers. So if the reader want to read the news in a chat way, of course the CMS have to adapt.
Thank you, Sara. And following up a little bit about that, and this is also a question to the rest of you. Should the newsroom know when a story or a fact is touched by AI or not? Meaning, at the end of the week or end of the month or end of the day even, does your systems help create some kind of report so you can see how AI was used and who used it and how much? This is more like a general topic of traceability. Let's start with you, Sara.
Yeah, like not inside the CMS for now, but it's in our roadmap. But we provide a dashboard to our client to monitor the use of AI. But now it's only an external dashboard. We have to integrate the dashboard.
Okay, good. Brian, traceability in your system?
So we've focused purely on the headline optimization piece, which I showed earlier. So we track basically whether hasn't been used, whether it's partially been used or fully used. Again, I think probably similar to Zoe, like we can provide a report of that, but it's not kind of real time in the CMS at the moment. We're still working on the best way of trying to present that. Yeah, I think that's kind of where we are. But I do think it's important to be able to track, those changes along with, like, we have a very simple kind of human in the loop verification. So it's kind of, has this been? It's almost an additional check before you publish an article that has got AI within it. But there are some, that's assuming people are creating the content within the CMS. I know there's kind of a whole world of where people are copying and pasting, as it was referenced earlier. And so there's a kind of, that becomes more challenging, obviously, if people are creating content outside of the CMS using an AI tool and then pasting it in. That's a different type of, that's why we focus on the
silos we were talking about, and you don't have any traceability if you allow those silos. Marie, traceability and Q Autopilot?
Well, version control has always been a big thing for us, and that works with AI as well. So the green color that shows up in the UI when you interact with AI will also show up in the version control to distinguish between if something was changed by AI or something was changed by the user. So that is always available for backtracking who did what and what has been done. For data in general, we do provide basic data insights as to the usage of Autopilot, but we are looking into different quality checks and balances, like feedback loops and stuff like that. Our only question is how many resources do we have sitting on the other side at this point, right? Because the goal for many publishers really is to automate and make this save some time and money, and we're not sure that a very heavy feedback loop on everything is relevant yet. So this is something that we're still discussing with our advisory board on different ways to enhance, like, the insights into to how to use it and make it better over time.
Is there still a little bit of AI feels like cheating in newsrooms?
I don't think so. I think actually the trust is up, maybe dangerously, to the point that it feels so good now, or it looks so good, and it does a lot of things generally good, but it will fail, right? And we're definitely working towards it being an option that if you just want to auto publish, there can be scenarios, right? Something that is already verified, syndications or external partners or wires or something like that. Sure, just go ahead, right? Run it through and that'll work. But I think that the human in the loop is still very important, and we're definitely not the ones to decide where that line is at this point.
Good. And we're nearing the end, but that's one question I would like to ask all three of you, and this is maybe the one of the biggest questions that's out there. How do you present AI that you, as a technologist, that you see is really useful, how do you present that to a newsroom that is, or even just to an editor or a journalist that's skeptical? Just one or two advices on how to introduce, how to position AI to a skeptical user. Let's start with Sara.
Yep. Yeah, like it's not easy, like
No, it's not.
because because like with my background in journalism, I try to, for example, when we have to do a demo or a presentation, I try to explain the benefit that we can have with using AI. But in Atex, for us, is like also we integrated AI in our CMS in a like a way like that is not predominant. It's only an helper. If you want, you can click and you can use it, but we don't have like a field that will be pre-written by AI, for example. Like the human have to do like have to push the button to ask AI to start, and yes, and another thing is to explain like the benefit. For example, with the print automation, you save like I think 3 hours of work. So if you present the benefit, you can start a conversation.
So the time-saving aspect is a good way to say, look how much time is being freed up. Brian, good advice for introducing AI to a skeptical newsroom?
Yeah, I don't think it can be a one-way conversation. I think I'd refer back to those sort of creating those wow moments. So getting the journalists and technologists in a room, being able to find one particular pressure point, being able to show, given how powerful kind of AI is, you can very quickly prototype something which they'll see the value very quickly and be able to create, wow, this really could help me, as opposed to just rewrite, articles for me. So I'd say it needs to be a kind of two-way conversation with editorial and technology.
Okay, cool. Finally, Maria, skeptical newsroom, how?
Yeah, I think the skepticism comes a lot from some of the bit more advanced features, like making up images or videos that are just generally fake, and people get like, that doesn't fit a newsroom, that doesn't fit journalism, right? So I think it does sound boring, but you got to start with the boring stuff. You got to start with the things that remove all of those tedious tasks. Nobody wants to do metadata. Nobody wants to do keyword optimizations. Nobody wants to do just the basic checklist of, is the article ready for publish? And as long as you have the human in the loop, I think that will really, really benefit. And we do see that benefiting just a normal productivity and relieving some of all this stuff that technology really has introduced over the years. And I think this is the first time that we're actually introducing technology that takes away the load of the end user. It's not a new button. Well, it is, right? But it's a button that does something for you. It's not a new field that you have to fill out with more stuff, right? And I think that's the big change here, that it is easy to see how beneficial it is.
But coming back to the self-driving car, I mean, it has to be a little bit scary to suddenly get tools that take away your steering wheel and something.
But I mean,
happens.
we got to do the whole range, right? We're also working with agents now to kind of smooth out those steps and maybe remove the manual workflows where it makes sense. But for our point of view, it'll always be a choice if it fits your newsroom. And we see all flavors of this, right? We see newsrooms that want to go right ahead and do the big scale auto publishing, and we do see some that are just, let's try out the safe zone first. And I think that's what we need to be able to support.
I like that. Try out the safe zone first. We're running out of time. Thank you, Sara from Atex. Thank you, Brian from Brightsides. Thank you, Marie from Stibo. And thank you, Kalle from Ilta Sanomat. Share the recording when you get it. Make sure that as many people as possible get to share the insights here. Do your own research and meet these vendors where they are. And finally, I wanted to share some stuff that's coming up. If you can put my screen on for a second. I have some, there we go. I have some advice on how to spend your online time the next days. On June 4th, there's a webinar, one EFRA webinar on local media about rebuilding recruitment sales. This is our Innovate Local team that takes care of this. And Ezra Eman was mentioned a couple of times, and after summer, you should mark your calendar for AI-powered translation. We did have a lot of questions about different languages in AI, and this is specifically something that will be zoomed in on September 9. And the upcoming events that I hope to meet you at is in India. We do have a lot of people joining today from India. Digital Media India takes place in June in Chennai. In Mexico, there's the AI Forum. The Jakarta AI Forum is right after summer in August. Then in Paris, and we have the Asian Media Leaders Summit and the Newsroom Summit in Copenhagen, which is your hometown, as far as I understand, Marie. So we will be covering most of the globe. And with that, I'll just say thank you. Make sure that you reach out to these guys if you want to know more. We will leave this on at the end and just have a really good day. Thanks for participating.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.